The Cauldron of Curiosities.
Welcome to the Cauldron of Curiosities. Today I'm having a think about things that I've been journaling about, and I posted this on Facebook. In 1985 I left Cornwall. I often returned and my holidays were filled with visits. This system of using my holidays to visit family members and friends went on till 1992. I had less holiday, and I'd also realised that only my brother and my parents had actually been to my house. And this probably sounds a little bit harsh, but I stopped visiting those who didn't call on me. This meant my connection with my family members had been severed, as they did not actually communicate with me directly if I did not call on them. There was no animosity or falling out. It was a boundary drawn regarding reciprocity. I felt it was not balanced and I withdrew. I do not recall telling anyone either. I just stopped going to visit. No one commented. No one turned up to say, "Hey, where are you?" And no one missed me and my visits. And at the time I felt I had wasted many hours visiting. But oddly, I could see how visiting or housing was very much part of the culture that I had grown up with. And some people at that time were more active visitors and some preferred to be hosts. This made me consider the importance of reciprocating and what we call reciprocity, where you offer part of yourself, your time, your effort or love, and when it's not returned, how it can have a ripple effect that can stir a myriad of feelings or a rainbow of emotions. I had felt hurt, and the disappointment led me to wondering and exploring, which is why I often journal about my own reactions when my offerings are not acknowledged or reciprocated, because I am confused. I think to myself, why? Don't they like me? Is there something that I did wrong? And that was where I think I was getting things wrong. All of this goes on despite me knowing everyone is unique. And as Don Miguel Ruiz says, I cannot perceive the inside of someone else's head. He suggests we should avoid creating stories based upon what we think the other person is thinking or what their motivation was, because we do not have access to all the clues. We do not know their foundation story and influences or the cultures they have been coloured by, and that includes the ones where they may have lived for a short period of time. All of those experiences and the colouring of their lives will change the way that they feel about certain situations. This means we have to accept we cannot control other people's behaviours because we do not know what button our stick might hit when poking around to get the response that we think we want, and it might actually create an unexpected and unwelcome situation which could have unknown effects. We have to accept that people are following their chosen path for their own reasons, and we can be present and witness their journey without interfering. If people want to be part of the path you seek or the path that you currently are on, they will join you and do so based upon their own intuition. When I turn this particular light onto my own initial thought, it makes me see that if people want me in their lives, they will find time for me. And it also reinforces the fact that if I made time for you, I chose that moment for you to be in my life. And that has its own element of importance. And it's an interesting thing to be journaling about, isn't it? So I would ask you, how do you show up for people? And how do you let people know that they're an important part of your life? Do you tell them physically? Do you tell them verbally? How do you communicate? that you are present and that you are with them. I find that quite interesting because sometimes we assume, don't we, that everyone knows that we love them or that we like them or that we want to be friends. We don't do that thing that we used to do in the school playground where we would say, I want to be your friend. Will you be my friend? When was the last time you said that or acknowledged that you would like to have a new friend in your life? Now, I have heard that said a few times recently, where people have said they don't have friends who have the same interests as them, which makes them feel quite lonely, even when they do have other friends who have different interests. And it is important sometimes to feel like we are walking in the same direction and people are walking at the same pace as us. It helps us check in and maybe have a reality check ourselves. So there's a psychological safety to having friends who believe in the same things, who follow the same path maybe, and as I said, follow at the same pace. I would love to know your thoughts about this. And is it just psychological or is it a spiritual aspect? And how important is it to you to have friends? Do we all need friends? That would be something, because some people would say they don't need friends, they don't need people. But do we? Do we need people in our lives? Do we need to have a friend who hears us? And do we need to also experience the element of where we are the friend who provides the foundation or the listening point for another person? Is that part of being a human and our humanity?